Welcome to this week's webisode of The Better Half. I'm Kinder D. St. Aubin, and this is Katie Hartley, and we're going to take a look back at what's been going on this week.
Kinder, we're going to kick it off with some D-back stuff. Of course, pitchers and catchers reporting this week. Kendra, lots of hype about this team. Do you think they will live up to expectations?
I think they will live up to expectations only because this year they come into the season already knowing the culture and the philosophy of the manager, Kirk Gibson. And last year, that was honestly a huge chunk of spring training, was getting them to believe in how he did things and getting them to believe in the system that he put on. So I think the fact that they're already ahead of the game in that aspect, they'll definitely live up to expectations. What are your thoughts?
I don't think they're sneaking up on anyone this year. I don't think nobody's going to be fooled by them this year, kind of like they were last year. But I think the confidence factor is going to be huge with this team this year. I think they are starting to believe in themselves, like you said. And, you know, Kirk Gibson and his philosophy of how he runs this team and how he handles the players, I think is going to play very well with that confidence factor of keeping them humble.
Well, and they're not going to be underdogs this year. They don't have that luxury of, coming in and everybody thinks that they're going to beat them. But I do think, like you said, the confidence is going to make a big difference.
Another story in the news this week is Devante Neals holding a press conference, if you will, and no showing at it, of course.
I love how he's just holding those mics in his hand. Like, they don't even have mic stands at the one that he actually makes the announcement at.
There were 600 elementary school children at this assembly for him to decide. Rumor was he was either going to claim Notre Dame or Arizona, U of A, my, of course, alumni. But it turned into a complete disaster. Kendra, who do you think is to blame?
I think it starts out with his dad, first and foremost. I mean, first of all, everyone else announced about 3 weeks ago where they were going to school. So the fact that they delayed it and his dad was reaching out to different media outlets and saying, hey, are you going to be there? Are you going to be at this big press conference? And they make this big to-do about it. And then nobody shows up. I'm sorry, but that is terrible. And I have to blame his father first and foremost, because you know that he's the one who kind of instills all this and got the ball rolling. But at some point, Devante Neals, he's an adult. He's going to have to just start making decisions for himself, because right now his dad is making him look terrible.
Well, and I agree. I think it's shameful on his dad for handling the situation. And I've got to ask the question, what are we teaching these kids? I mean, what are we teaching these high school athletes that they're that big of a deal at 18 years old, that they need all this hubbub? And I just think it's ridiculous. If anything, these parents should be instilling good morals and values for them and keeping their ego in check. And doing stuff like this, that is not going to help.
Well, and you're right. I mean, I think a lot of it does have to do with the society and the way we place attention on certain things, and us in the media as well. I mean, look back to Jimmy Clausen a few years ago. He had a big press conference, pulled up in a limo, and I mean, it's just so far over the top. We don't take pride in other things like education and things like that. It's more just about, hey, what college is this kid going to play football for? And I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, let's move on to some NBA talk. The AllStar Weekend is coming up this weekend, of course, and the Suns getting better, I think we can say. They won against the Lakers on Sunday night and then won against the Warriors on Monday night. Kendra, do you think this team can turn it around in the second half of the season?
Unfortunately, I don't seem to know which Suns team is going to show up that night, because it seems like sometimes you think they're kind of getting on a roll. That time they almost won 4 games in a row. Maybe they were turning a corner. And then it's like they take a step back and lose to a team that they shouldn't. Especially at home. They can't seem to win at home until these last couple games. So I think they're going to stick right about 500, if not a little bit under, the entire second half of the season. And that's the Suns team we're just going to be left with. So at that point, you kind of come to the conclusion, do they try to suck for draft picks the rest of the way out? Or, do they continue to work hard and try to get something done?
Yeah, and I misspoke. I said the Warriors on Monday night. It was actually the Wizards on Monday night. They play the Warriors before they head into the All-Star break. You know what? I like the way this team is kind of coming together. They seem to be finding their own pace, their own rhythm. I hope they can turn it around. They're above 500 in February. Better than January, right?
Above 500 in February, but not for an overall record. So trust me, it makes all of our jobs easier when the teams do well that we cover. So I hope for their sake, and Alvin Gentry, because I really like Alvin Gentry. He seems like a really good guy. I hope they do well, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Well, we kind of have mentioned AllStar Weekend. What is your favorite part of AllStar Weekend?
Well, I said this to you before we started taping. My favorite part about the AllStar Weekend is when it's over, because I think it's a complete waste of time. This game means absolutely nothing. They don't have to try. The game itself is a joke. The three-point contest, the skills challenge, the slam dunk, I mean,
You're
I don't know.
such a
It's
negative
so,
Nancy, Kendra.
And you know what? The big guy always wins the dunk contest. I like it when the little 5'5" guy who actually has to take some effort to dunk, I like it when he wins, not Blake Griffin.
I hope Derek Williams wins this year.
I do like Derek Williams.
I am most excited to
he's
see
a Timberwolf.
all the celebrities come out this weekend. I can't
Why
wait
does
to
that not
see
surprise me?
if Kim Kardashian shows up, who Jeremy Lin's going to be getting buddy-buddy with, and I can't wait to see if Chris Brown and Rihanna actually show up together. I really hope not.
Are you really going to like watch for that?
Yeah,
Are you just
absolutely.
going to be scanning the crowd?
Nobody watches the game.
Is that why you watch the Laker games?
Maybe.
Just scan the crowd.
Maybe. All right, we are out of time. You can follow her on Twitter at Kendra620. You can follow me at FunKatie620. And we'll be back next week with another webisode of The Better Half.